perhaps no vehicle I get more flack over than the one I'm driving this week. But that's okay, because I'm going to make a case for it. I really like the 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally. Let's go have a look at it. Well, for those of you who don't know what the Mustang Mach-E is, it's Ford's midsize electric crossover. And for those of you who do know what it is, I'm sure you have different opinions. Some think it's really cool, and some think it's been absolute sacrilege to have built this with the Mustang name on it. I don't think it's sacrilege. I think it's really cool. If you want a Mustang, you want the two-door Mustang with the big V8 engine, Ford would be very happy to sell you one. But for the rest of you who like the idea of a Mustang, but want to go electric, want to take the kids to school, want to get your luggage in the back of it, want all-wheel drive, this is the vehicle that does all that. And I do like the rally package on this particular vehicle. My daughter likes it too. She likes the white with the black stripes, and I think it looks really cool. It's got the Mustang shape of a grill with the Mustang in it, and the Mustang lights up at night, so it's pretty cool. But come around the side, you really get that rally-inspired look. It looks like it's ready to go off-roading, a little bit off-roading, dirt roads, gravel roads, and do a little bit of racing. I like the tires. Tires are good for gripping dirt, also good for gripping snow and ice, as I found out this week. The 19-inch white wheels, I think, look really cool on it. I even like the E-Rally logos on the side of it, and the big black wing here on the back too. Honestly, it's probably a little bit overdone, but it definitely does look sporty, and it does look pretty cool. Come around the back. At least it has a lot of the look of the Mustang. It's got Mustang tail lamps. Again, once you get past the fact that it's a crossover and a crossover, the big fat wing on the back of it, I think it looks pretty cool, actually. Power hatch. Again, anybody that's ever driven or owned a Mustang, you can barely get enough luggage in the trunk to go to the airport. Not going to be a problem with this one. Seats go down, fold flat. You get the bicycle in it. Plenty of storage space. But if you're just trying to get a couple bags in here, obviously plenty of space for that too. Well, with the possible exception of one of the Shelbys, this is my most favorite Mustang to drive. So let's just start with the basics. Well, first of all, you got plenty of space to get 4 people in here. But it feels tight. It feels, like a sports car when you're inside of it. Reminds me a lot of like one of the Infiniti FXs from several years ago. So it feels very sporty. I like the proportions and the way you feel as a driver inside of it. But let's talk about the driving experience. The electrical system, instant power, instant torque. 480 horsepower, 700 pound-feet of torque. You're not going to complain about the power in it. Dead silent, you just zip off in it. All-wheel drive. Mustangs don't have all-wheel drives. This one does. This week, I was driving the car. I got a little snow one morning. I had to drive an hour out to Greensburg, Indiana from Indianapolis. About 55, 60 miles on the interstate. Left my neighborhood, snow everywhere, ice. No problem at all. This vehicle has winter tires on it. Took off. All-wheel drive just dealt with it. Out on the highway, let me tell you about the rest of the things I like about driving it. This has magnetic ride control. So the suspension, 4-wheel independent suspension, which is rare in Mustangs until recently, it just absolutely deals with it. You put this thing in a corner hard, it firms right up. You're right down the highway. It rides comfortably. Potholes like we have today soaks them up. So I think all that's been a really good experience. So for me, it's probably about the nicest driving Mustang. Like I said, you get the kids in it, all-wheel drive, deal with the snow, all things you really couldn't deal with Mustang in the past. But let's talk about this one being electric. So recharging the vehicle, if you're doing it on a DC fast charger, you can do 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes. Range in this one with the rally package is a little bit limited. Ford claims 265 miles. When I pulled off the charger, I'm seeing 240 miles, and it drops down pretty quick, especially when it's cold outside as it has been. I'm seeing more like 230 miles, but after that it settles in, and it's a pretty honest range. So you got enough range to do what you want to do. You can charge quickly. Charge it at home on a 240 volt charger. Easy overnight recharge from a long day's activities. And I just really enjoy being on the highway on it. Another thing this thing has, which I really like too, is this has Ford's Blue Cruise system. So on select roads, it'll give you the indicator, and then it's hands-off cruising. So again, out on the interstate, sat there, had my Coke, watched the world go by, and it's got a sensor here watching me, watching the road, and it'll beep if I'm not paying attention. So there's no reading a book, no climbing the back seat for a nap or anything. But it's really relaxing. You sit on the highway for an hour, have a Coke, watch the world go by. A couple of things I don't love about this system. I think it's not quite as good as General Motors Super Cruise system. This one doesn't have the automatic lane change, so you still have to use the turn indicator for it to change lanes. And it's not real happy about going back to the right lane sometimes. When you put the turn signal on, it basically says it's searching for the lane, and it's preparing to change, and it's checking all the sensors to make sure there's nothing in your blind spot. and then it takes a little while to change, and sometimes it doesn't quite. So I think that needs a little work. But overall, again, I had a couple of good round trips on the highway and really enjoyed driving it. Well, taking a look around the interior, I think Ford has done a very nice job of making this vehicle feel modern without feeling like a science project. Sure, you got the great big giant touchscreen in the middle, and you can wirelessly connect Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Got wireless charging here in the console. Got the B&O audio system, so it sounds really crisp and clear when you get everything connected. So it feels modern, flat screen gauges as well, and all the materials, like kind of the canvasy feel. So it looks really cool, but it's easy to use. And what I really like once you get in here and get settled and kind of get used to it, it has a nice 3-spoke leather wrapped steering wheel. You got heated seats, you got a heated steering wheel, and it just feels really actually like a sports car. It feels like a Mustang after you get used to it. And also, like, I've driven on the road here lately. A lot of the vehicles feel a little disconnected. They feel like science projects. This doesn't. This feels connected to the road. It feels sporty. It's an electric car that you want to go find a 2-lane road and just really enjoy driving it. And just the interior is nice. And you almost forget that you can get 2 kids in the back and your luggage with no problem. An EV really can't be that much fun to drive. You need to go drive this one. It is fast and quiet as you expect it to be, accelerates quickly, and it is a very engaging vehicle to drive as well. So let's talk about the price of this vehicle. Well, the Mach-E starts just under $40,000. This one all in, $65,685. Well, next week, another fun car. Until then, storm forward.